If I may, first of all, a confession, I've not been able to read your book, so please excuse me if it's already answered in the book. But I'd like to understand how you define the Indian civilization. Is it the Indus civilization? Where does it extend? I mean, does it start at Pakistan or Afghanistan, or does it start, at our current border? Does it end at,
Okay.
So what do you mean? And in order to understand India and Indians, because there was no India until the end of the British rule.
Yeah. So new evidence is coming all the time, which is very nice. Therefore, we need to invest in research. So we are the ones interpreting rather than outsiders interpreting, because a large part of this Indus Saraswati civilization has been interpreted by outsiders. So we are now trying to take control of that. This Indus Saraswati civilization starts from Afghanistan, Pakistan, Sindh to Punjab, Haryana. In fact, the largest town discovered so far is in Haryana. So, and in terms of Mohenjo-daro and Harappa are famous because they were found earlier, and so they are very large though. But numerically also, more 2/3 of the locations are in present-day India. But we look at prior boundary, which all those were part of this. So that is one of the archaeological evidences that needs to be decoded. The language hasn't been decoded yet. The tiles have got very sharp, chiseled, images, but we haven't figured out. There is many competing theories on what it is and what it means, but it hasn't been decoded in a conclusive way. Then there is the oral tradition, which is Vedic. So the British, the Max Muller, Germans and British come up with this theory that these are Aryans who came from somewhere else, which is not true, because you do not find any evidence in those countries of the kind of flora and fauna. They're talking about animals and plants, and they're talking about an ocean, and those are landlocked Central Asian countries. They don't have that. The flora fauna doesn't exist. They talk about huge mountains. They talk about rivers coming down. So what they are describing exists in this area that I mentioned. It does not exist in Europe or Central Asia. So now what you have to do is to take the oral tradition of texts, Sanskrit, Vedas and all that, and then integrate that with the archaeological evidence. That has not been done. I think then that gives us an idea of this dual origin, the physical evidence and the intellectual linguistic evidence. But then Indian civilization keeps branching and create many things. There is whole Shaivism, the Tantra tradition, the Vedic, the whole Puranas, Itihas, all that kind of stuff. So this grand narrative needs to be written down, needs to be turned into IMAX theaters. We need to have a history channel.
So the Aryan Dravidians are the same civilization?
Yes. No, Aryan Dravidian are the same group of people in India, have a linguistic subcategories. It's not a foreign Aryan idea.
And just one point, just to add to that the idea of the geography of India is also there in the manner of a sacred geography in Mahabharata and Ramayana. So, there have been works on this, the pilgrim routes that have marked this territory beyond the political boundaries, which may have shifted. But pilgrim routes have remained over thousands of years.